His name is Alec Minassian. Not exactly sure how to say his name, but he is responsible for the harrowing 2018 Toronto van attack, and he was one of the most popular cases in which somebody was motivated by incel ideology to commit an atrocious act of violence. Here is a bit of a video of the attack, and then we are going to go through his interrogation. Look, people are like, oh, get back, get back, get back, look out. Shoot. I know there's no audio here, but we can still see the van moving this direction here, cutting across traffic, and then just, it looks like, yep, just driving right onto a residential sidewalk or something. So people will try desperately to get out of the way.
Okay, who is in foot pursuit and where exactly are you? Heads up! Head out!
It looks like he's also armed. I didn't realize that this guy was also armed at the time.
Heads up! Anybody down in that area that can give me an update? Heads out! 3233, I'm making my way back. Heads out! No, heads out! 130, Captain Man. 33, sorry, 33, 42, are you calling?
Yeah, I'm heading over to 32 to help them out where they want them.
And finally, he's apprehended. So, a little bit of a reminder for those of you that don't remember this terrible tragedy. The vehicle ramming attack occurred on April 23rd, 2018, when a rented van was driven through the New York City Center Business District in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. The driver targeted pedestrians, killing 11 people and injuring 15, some critically. The incident is the deadliest vehicle ramming attack in Canadian history. The attack is characterized as misogynistic terrorism by some because it was motivated by revenge for perceived sexual and social rejection by women, although this conclusion has been challenged. At the time of his arrest, the man described himself as an incel to the police. In prior social media postings, he described the upcoming attack as a continuation of the incel rebellion started by the late Elliot Rodger. Elliot Rodger, for those of you that don't remember, of course, he was one of the most notorious incels for committing a mass shooting against multiple women. The Toronto vehicle man pleaded not criminally responsible to the 10 counts of first-degree murder and 16 counts of attempted murder. But he was found to be guilty on all counts in March of 2021. Now that we have a little bit of understanding of that, let's go ahead and get into his confession.
Alec?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Good, good. Did you drink water?
Sure.
Thanks so much. How you feeling?
I'm good.
You feeling okay? My name's Rob Thomas.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, how are you? How are you? You doing okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably had better days than this, I guess, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I am a little shaken, to be honest.
You're a little shaken?
It's not like it's not my usual day, obviously.
Yeah, no, I can appreciate that. Yeah. Alec. You mind if I call you Alec?
Yeah, sure.
What do your friends normally call you?
Alec.
Alec. Yeah. Alec, my name's Rob Thomas, so I want you to call me Rob from here on in, okay?
Okay.
Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay. Alec, I want you to understand something. I'm a senior detective with the... Okay?
All right, so we can get past all the formalities here into the actual meat of the discussion.
We're going to spend a good deal of time together, okay?
Uh-huh.
It's important that I talk to you, all right? I've done a little bit of reading, and I know a little bit about involuntary...
Celibacy.
Celibacy, right. So being celibate, involuntarily
Yes.
celibate. What does that mean?
That means celibacy means someone who never has a sexual intercourse.
Right.
Involuntary celibacy means this wasn't your choice.
I
You
see.
essentially are have been thrown into true forced loneliness, and you're unable to lose your virginity.
I would be willing to bet that this man is definitely on the autism spectrum, just by the way he talks. Regardless, it of course does not justify what he did, but it does make me quickly kind of come to that conclusion that he is probably on the autistic or autism spectrum, just because of the robotic way in which he speaks.
Right.
This is especially painful for young males.
Right. That makes sense. When did you first? Sorry, you mentioned
So
this.
instantly you can see here the victim mentality, right? It's involuntary. It's really painful for males. No, it would be painful for anybody to feel like they were completely rejected by everybody in the world and had absolutely no hope when it came to finding a decent partner who actually loved them. But again, because of your victim mentality that us males have it so bad because we don't have state mandated sex slaves, that doesn't justify you getting in a fucking van and mowing down a bunch of people.
When did you first? Sorry, you mentioned this and I forgot. When did you first go on to 4chan?
2014.
2014, and specifically when in 2014?
May 23, 2014.
And how were you able to remember that?
Because I remember that was a very significant day.
Is there a single person who's shocked that this man is a frequent user of 4chan? Because I am not.
That was when Elliot Rodger decided to essentially commit an uprising, a beta uprising, if you will,
Right.
against the Chads and the Stacys. It was a beta uprising.
Listen to this guy. This man is terminally online before terminally online was even a meme. So first of all, he's claiming that Elliot Rodger is responsible for the beta uprising. You're kind of right in the sense that Elliot Rodger is a beta, and you're also a beta, and anybody that, rather than fixing themselves and improving themselves to try and get a partner in life, just blames all women, they're also a fucking beta. So I guess you got that right when you say it's the beta uprising, but the way that he's talking about it, he's obviously speaking about it as a positive. Elliot Rodgers committed a mass shooting. He did nothing positive. What he did was disgusting, and his existence was a blight on the world. Second of all, the way in which he just so seriously says, like, it's a simple uprising against the Chads and the Stacys. Like, the way in which incel language is so just fluent with his words, it's obvious how heavily motivated this man is by just some of the worst ideology around.
A beta uprising? Okay.
Although he didn't call it a beta uprising at the time. Someone else who was inspired by him by the name of Chris Harper called it a beta uprising sometime in, actually I believe it was October 1, 2015.
It was Elliot Rodger who was the father of
Basically
this.
the founding forefather
founding
of the
forefather.
entire movement.
Right. So explain to me this movement. What's this movement about?
It's basically a movement of angry incels such as myself who are unable to get laid. Therefore, we want to overthrow the Chads, which would force the Stacys to be forced to reproduce with the incels.
Right. Okay.
So he literally wants to just kill off all the quote-unquote Chads, the men that he perceives as competition, so that the women have no choice but to sleep with him and other incels? So what you're gonna just mass holocaust all the good-looking people? I mean, first of all, that's terrifying because we all know that I would be the first to go. Second of all, this is ridiculous. Totally unfeasible and just embarrassing. He speaks kind of like an evil villain almost.
What happened in the Elliot Rodgers uprising? What did he do?
I know he used a gun as well as a vehicle to convert the life status of certain individuals to death status.
Right.
Only
Did he just say convert a life status to a death stat? What? I'm sorry, did this guy just become Jordan Peterson? I've never heard somebody complicate the statement he killed people.
to carry the message that incels can't be oppressed.
And then what about Chris Harper Mercer? What did he do?
He used a gun for all of his murders.
And were these fellas active on 4chan?
Yes.
They were. Eh? Have you ever communicated with these fellas?
I actually have, as a matter of fact.
Who did you communicate with?
Both of them, actually.
Really?
We discussed our
Okay, well, that's a little bit concerning, you know? One of his best buddies on 4chan, just Elliot Roger.
frustrations at society and being unable to get laid. And we were plotting a certain timed strikes on society in order to confuse and shake the foundations, just to put all the normies in a state of panic.
Okay, and who would be a normie?
Normie means normal people. That would be anyone who is considered to be normal by the unfair standards of society.
Wow, that's really comforting, you know? Normies, just everyday people. What's the goal of the incels? To put normies in a state of panic.
But not the Chads or Stacys.
Chads and Stacys are actually above normies, or at least they think they're above
Of course,
normies.
yeah. Okay, all right. So is it fair to say you've got Chads and Stacys up here, normies down here, and then you've got celebs who believe that they are being
Incels.
repressed? Incels, sorry.
Yes.
Incels who believe they're being suppressed or repressed, and so as a result, to even the playing field,
Yes.
they convert the Stacys and Chads from living to dead, and to
So
make
that
it-
we come out on top.
Yeah, more than so. Is there? So the targets? Who are the targets?
I genuinely have no idea how this man thought he would ever be able to fucking achieve that. Like, what do you think exactly? Like, the ladies are just gonna all start swooning when they're like, hey, that's the guy over there that brutally slaughtered all the other men. Like, what? How? What are you hoping to accomplish, dude?
For this uprising be?
All of the alpha males.
All the alpha males, so the Chads.
Yes.
So those are the people that you want to kill?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And who else?
Any
Yeah, no, he didn't just want to kill women then. He wanted to kill men as well. He wanted to kill the Chads and the Stacys. Both incel terms for men and women that are above average looking. So like me, for example, I'm very clearly a Chad.
any of the Stacys who do not wish to give their love and affection to the incels.
So they're a target as well
Yes.
to be killed.
Yes.
Okay. And what about
Okay, cool. Gotcha. Thank you again, my autistic friend, for admitting this. Got it. So a woman says no. It's her body. She does not want to have sex with you because you're a weird mofo. And what is your response? Not okay. No, instead it's run them down. Like maybe, just maybe, hear me out, okay? Maybe consider therapy before you consider renting a utility van and murdering 11 people.
Yes, we don't necessarily wish to kill the normies, but we do wish to subjugate them in order to make them understand that that our type is the more superior one.
Right. So when you say subjugate, what do you mean by that?
Meaning either imprison them or put them in a lower position in society.
Okay.
So that
Okay, so he's saying that he wants to subjugate the quote-unquote normies so that they will acknowledge that the incels are superior, but yet I thought that the Chads and the Stacys, by his logic, were considered superior because of the way in which they were perceived by general society. So I'm really confused. Does he think that if he murders everyone, then everyone's just going to forget about the other men and then just have no more perception? Am I making a mistake trying to make sense of this? Yes.
the incels or the Pepe the Frog types as the more superior ones.
So, okay. So you're saying things that I'm not familiar with.
Sorry.
What's a Pepe the
But we
Frog?
he's a mascot on 4chan. We
He's a mascot?
yes.
Oh, mascot on 4chan.
Yes.
And he's a-
I was using a metaphor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's actually worshipped quite frequently.
Oh, okay. All right. So going back to the
Good old Pepe the Frog memes. Oh, brother.
Conversation with Chris and Elliot. Who did you have conversation with first? Let me ask you that.
Elliot.
Elliot. So how did you learn of Elliot?
Because we private messaged each other on Reddit.
Yep.
After I saw one of his posts,
Mm-hmm.
and we just talked about each other, got to know each other, and we found each other very interesting. We both had the same frustrations at society,
Right.
despite being separated by distance so far apart.
You know, maybe these incels, in their quest to find a partner, didn't even realize that they found each other.
Did you ever visit him?
No, but I wish I could have.
Yeah. Did he ever come and visit you?
No, but I wish he did.
Yeah.
I wish he did visit me. Oh, man, I wish he would have invited me, you know, to go down to that college dorm. I could have helped murder a couple people. I'm sorry, convert a couple people from living to dead. Ah, if only. It would have been a great vacation.
When specifically did you first contact or have contact with Elliot?
January of 2014.
2014. And when did you stop having communication with him?
As soon as he was deceased.
Okay. So his act, I know, took place in 2014, but I wasn't aware of the exact day. What day was it?
May 23, 2014.
May 23rd. Yeah, you said that. So when did you last speak to him?
May 20.
May 20th. And so what did he tell you?
He told me that he has to go. He is on a very important mission,
Mhm.
and he might not make it back alive.
And so
Mind you that the guy he's constantly talking about and idolizing, Elliot Rogers, is the same dude who did the whole rant about how he's the supreme gentleman. He's literally like obsessed over one of the worst subhuman, decrepit fucking pieces of shit to ever exist. And it's really, really embarrassing.
what did you say to him?
I kind of had an idea in my head of what he was planning, but I didn't want to think it was true at the time. So I replied and said, I wish you good luck with that.
Right on. Okay. And when did you learn that what he had done?
I saw it on the news later that night.
Later on the 23rd.
Yes.
Okay. And what did you think?
I thought that I came to the understanding that this is the mission that he had to carry out.
Okay. All right. And anything else?
I felt kind of proud of him for his acts of bravery.
Okay. All right. And what about
Nothing that Elliot Roger did was brave. Not a single fucking thing he did was a single act of bravery. This was a man who was so entitled to women and their attention that he thought because women weren't just fawning over him and kissing his feet when he walked in the door, that therefore he was being rejected by all the women. He is a complete and total pussy-ass bitch. He's the opposite of a fucking brave hero or anything that anybody should be proud of.
how you started to change your thinking? Was any of that going on?
I was starting to feel radicalized at that time.
You were. Okay. And when you say radicalized, what do you mean by that?
Meaning I felt it was time to take action and not just sit on the sidelines and to just fester in my own sadness.
Right on. Okay. All right. So what takes place next? As part of this growing radicalization?
To be honest, the planning didn't occur until about a month ago. Most of it was actually just thinking
Okay.
and daydreaming.
Okay. All right. So the thinking and daydreaming, when did that start?
That started about a month after the rebellion in May of 2014.
Okay. So
So in June, I started thinking about this stuff.
and then that continued right up till about a month ago?
Yes, which is when I booked the van with the rider in
Okay.
order to use as a tool for rebellion.
All right. So take me through that process. What was going through your mind, and what were you thinking when you were doing all of this? What was going on?
I was thinking that it was a time that I stood up to the Chads and Stacys.
Okay. And then so
See, notice that too. He's like, it's time for me to stand up to them. Like, he feels personally slighted by the fact that there are just people existing around him that he perceives as better looking or more successful, as better with women, etc. He feels like it's some kind of a personal attack, even though it's nothing personal whatsoever. So this is most likely, and again, I'm not a therapist, but he appears to be exhibiting signs of vindictive narcissism, grandiosity, or an inflated ego. He talks about wanting to be superior and make sure that everybody recognizes how superior he is. Fantasizing about power, success, or importance. Again, he wants everybody to recognize how superior he is. Feeling special, exceptional, or better than others. Needing excessive praise, validation, or attention. Feeling entitled to special treatment. So again, people with narcissistic tendencies, they feel like they are owed special treatment. They feel that they are owed validation and attention from other people. They don't see that as a privilege or something that they earned. They see that as something that is their fucking right. And if you don't give it to them, then you're a bad person. A pattern of exploiting or using other people. A lack of empathy for the feelings and needs of others. Envious, jealous, or extremely competitive. I'd say that this incel absolutely exhibits these tendencies as well. Arrogance or a sense of superiority over others. Wow, that, again, fits even more so. Extreme sensitivity to criticism. Again, he takes just successful, good-looking people existing around him as some kind of personal criticism. Poor self-awareness, low emotional intelligence, and poor impulse control. Again, all things that he exhibited when he decided to murder a bunch of people. So a vindictive narcissist is not a clinical or official diagnosis. Instead, the term is used casually to describe someone with narcissistic traits who tends to be mean, callous, and cruel towards others. So one of the signs of this kind of narcissism is that they're easily offended. Research suggests that narcissistic rage and vindictiveness are commonly exhibited when a narcissist takes offense to something that someone did or said. Because narcissists often think only of themselves, they tend to take things personally and get offended in situations most people wouldn't be bothered by. The more sensitive a narcissist is to criticism, the more likely it is they'll become mean, vengeful, and vindictive. This is exactly what we just saw happen here with this incel. He is easily offended. He's hypersensitive. He takes the fact that just good-looking people exist around him as criticism, and that's enough for him to now go out and commit a mass atrocity.
what happens? So this, tell me what takes place.
So I booked the van,
Yep.
and then I just simply wait until today,
Yep.
and then I go rent the van, and then I drive it, take it downtown to Toronto,
Okay.
and I just start using it as a weapon.
Okay. All right. And so when you say that,
Well, I guess that clears up the question as to whether or not this was premeditated or not.
what do you mean by that?
Meaning the vehicle collided with several pedestrians, some of who are no longer alive as a result.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay.
Why is he downplaying it? It's so obvious that he's trying to minimize what he did, or maybe not even minimize it. Maybe he, in his own mind, maybe it's minimized within his own mind even. You killed people by hitting them with your van, bro. Like, it's obvious that he's trying to, use technical explainers to almost distance himself from the crime. And like I said, I don't know if that's because he wants to just minimize the crime, or if it's because inside, in his mind, he is truly delusional enough so to believe that it's not that big of a deal. Either way, this is an obviously very sick individual.
Right. Okay. 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 And so that's a lot of information. Take me back to a month ago. You said this is when this whole planning started?
Yes.
Okay. So about a month ago, where were you at that point?
I was at Seneca College, and I decided to phone Ryder and book either a truck or a van with them. And they had a 10-foot van available, so I figured that this is perfect. I can not, it's big enough to have an effect, but not too big that I can't maneuver with it. So van was the perfect medium size to use as my weapon.
Okay, so when do you leave?
It's so eerie how like methodical and thought out this guy is about his horrible act of violence. Like, it's actually really just eerie.
I wasn't looking at the time when I left, but I know I received the van before 1 p.m., although it was, the booking was actually scheduled for 1.
Okay, all right. And how long does it take you to get from Ryder to Yonge Street?
I went to Yonge, to the beginning of Yonge?
To the beginning of the attack.
Oh, to the near Yonge and Finch.
Yeah.
I would estimate about.
You're right, chat. It is also very eerie how happy he is to offer up this information to the detectives. But again, I'm not a professional, I don't know, but in my opinion, this reads again like a level of almost psychopathy. He's taking joy and he's taking pleasure in reliving the atrocious acts that he committed.
20 to 30 minutes.
20 to 30 minutes. Now, what are you thinking while you're in the van?
I'm thinking that this is it. This is the day of retribution.
Okay. And anything else in your mind?
Just that. That's the only thing that's in my mind. It's just burning in my mind.
Burning in your mind.
Yeah.
Okay, and so let me ask you this, because this is really interesting. Why do you choose Yonge and Finch?
I didn't choose Yonge and Finch in particular. I was driving down Yonge because I knew it would be a busy area, and then as soon as I saw there were pedestrians, I just decided to go for it.
Okay. And so, where specifically were you, in terms of your specific location? Where were you when you just decided to go for it?
I was at some traffic lights.
Okay, where?
Well, actually, I don't remember. The only reason, in fact, if I hadn't, I remember some other, I had heard some other officer mention Yonge and Finch before. That's the only reason I really remember it.
Okay.
But otherwise, I actually wouldn't have remembered
You would
that
never
it's
remember.
Yonge and Finch. I just knew that I started seeing a lot of people walking.
Okay. Am I correct when I say that you knew at least you were on Yonge Street?
Yes.
And you knew that you were...
Because I specifically chose it beforehand, because that's why, because I even looked for that ramp from Highway 7 to Yonge.
Right.
So he continues to give out more information and pretty much gleefully relive the experience. Skipping ahead a little bit, let's see where we start up now.
When I turned right, there was a convenient place to pull over on the sidewalk.
Okay. Okay, and so you're now... So you physically stop your vehicle?
Yes.
You physically stop. So you end the assault?
Yes.
Okay. And you end it because you can't see?
Yes.
And you knew the cops were coming?
Yes.
Okay, and so then what happens at that point?
I see a patrol car pull over and I hear the cops screaming at me to get out, so I get out and I point my wallet at the cop with the intent for it to be confused with a gun so that I could be fatally shot.
Ah, so at the beginning part, when we saw that footage and we thought that he was holding a gun, now he's cleared it up. He was actually just holding a wallet, pretending it was a gun, in hopes that the police would just kill him. I mean, I feel like if that was an American police officer, the trigger probably would have been pulled before they even saw the gun. Or before they even saw what they thought was a gun.
Okay. And was that something you were thinking about?
Yes.
I know. I mean, what I'm saying is
Even beforehand, I premeditated as an attempted suicide by cop.
you wanted to be killed by the police.
Yes.
Okay. Can I ask why you decided to equip yourself with a wallet and not something else?
I was worried. I was thinking about purchasing a toy gun,
Right.
but I was kind of paranoid that for whatever reason, the rental company would ask to see my pockets or any bag if I chose to bring that. So I decided to go as stealthy as possible so no one suspects anything.
Okay. All right. Nevertheless, you get out of the van. The officer, correct me if I'm wrong, because I want to make sure I get this right. you get out of the van because the officer orders you out?
Yes.
Okay. And you want to die by suicide by police. So you point your wallet at him?
So is dying by so wait, is suicide by cop less beta or more beta than just regular good old-fashioned suicide? Because we got Elliot Rodger, who committed good old-fashioned suicide. You said he was brave. Then you wanted death by cop. Which one is more beta or less beta?
By suicide by police. So you point your wallet at him?
Yes.
Okay, and do you say anything to the officer?
I actually told him that I had a gun in my pocket, which was untrue.
Right.
Then twice I stuck my left hand in my pocket and attempted to do this just to provoke a reaction.
Okay.
Unfortunately he didn't react.
Right.
So then I ended up being ordered to the ground. So I knew at that point he's not going to shoot me. So I've lost. So I had no choice but to just get on the ground.
Yep, good point, chat. Yeah, for sure. Tricking somebody else to just do it for you, definitely way more beta.
I'm going to ask you this.
That was only a joke. This Hunter Avallone channel does not endorse suicide. Please do not kill yourself. Thank you.
Because it's important. 10 people died here today. 15 people were seriously injured. I think it's important to ask how you feel about that.
I feel like I accomplished my mission.
You feel like you accomplished your mission?
Yes.
Yeah, this again seems very psychotic in my opinion. He sees it as a completed mission. He killed people. He's happy about it. He's satisfied with it. He sees it as like a job's well done. It shows the level of depravity in which incel ideology can motivate people to stoop. They can just fall so low as a result of incel ideology. And it's really sad. This is clearly a man who was already lonely, who probably already didn't have great social skills based on the way he's talking now. And he probably found some kind of solace and community within incels, within the incel community, because he felt like they understood him and they also struggled with social interactions and whatnot. Unfortunately, though, the community that he was so desperate to find radicalized him further and led to him committing these mass atrocities. It makes me think that if this man had received mental health help sooner and instead had a healthy, supportive community of friends around him, he probably never would have fallen this far. This guy is a piece of shit through and through. He has clearly no remorse, but he's also obviously mentally ill and sick. And I really just wish he would have gotten help before he went on to take the lives of so many innocent people. The Toronto van attacker was subsequently sentenced to life in prison. A man who plowed a rented van into dozens of people on a busy Toronto street in 2018, killing 11, was sentenced to life in prison on Monday. That was Monday, mind you, June 13th, 2022. So although the attack took place in 2018, he was not sentenced until only 2 years ago. This weaselly, balding little bitch, thankfully, is sitting in prison now, and he will be for the rest of his fucking sad life. If you want to support the channel, please consider becoming a member today. Members get early access to videos, access to all the stream VODs, and exclusive access to emotes as well. So if you'd like to support the channel, become a member today.